Welcome to BreitWerks. We are back on this 930 slant nose, and we are going to do the full Magilla on the brakes. So we're going to put new rotors, new pads. Nothing's been replaced since '88. As a matter of fact, we've just changed the rear brake hoses, and those were dated 1187, so 35-year-old brake hoses. So we're going to do brake hoses all the way around. We'll keep you apprised as we go along, and we're just getting started. All right, so we got the left rear done. So we got the new rotor on. We cleaned the spacer up and put the new pads in, new pad sensors. Nothing really tricky about the rears. Just making sure that you route your cable correctly. Just goes along the brake line. Then over here we've got the caliper off, and we got our rotor back on. We put in our set screws. So the rears are pretty straightforward. I always clean up the emergency brake stuff that's in there, or parking brake, I guess is correct reference, and then clean out the pistons. But make sure you always support your caliper so you don't destroy the brake line. But we're going to get on with it, and these are directional, so there's a right and there's a left, and that's the rears. So even the rears are directional on the 911 turbos. Something to pay attention to. All right, so we're on to the front brakes, and this is one of those wheel seals that I've talked about in the past. So we're gonna, since we have this out, we're gonna change the wheel bearings, and you have to take the whole thing off because of the way that the rotor is mounted to the hub. So we're gonna deal with that. But here's what our issue was. You can see the pad deposit on the rotor. And I went in and I bedded these guys in pretty good, but you're never gonna get that off. And since there was already a lip, I said, hey, we don't turn rotors. We'll just, we'll change them. But this is just from sitting so long that the pad and the rotor got together. So I can only imagine how they had to bump the car to get that all to release. But yeah, this is after the bedding in process to just see if I can rebed these old pads. And we'll get on with it and get this rotor swapped. So we were able to get this nasty hub all cleaned up. Got all the old grease out of it. Got our assembly hardware all cleaned up. And now we're gonna install the rotor. And yeah, I think that wheel seal was leaking, so I'm gonna replace that, put some new bearings in it. Hey, 35 years is a good run. All right, we're gonna get on with it. So in our previous video, I had said I wasn't sure if a wheel seal had leaked or something, but there was just crunch and a lot of grease. So I pulled the backing plate off, got that in the ultrasonic cleaner, doing its thing. But yeah, it feels like where the seal sits, I don't feel any burrs. So maybe it had failed and somebody replaced it, but now we got it all cleaned up, so we'll be able to keep track of it. Well, the backing plate responded very well to getting cleaned up. Now it's waxed, so we always replace these usually because they're so rusty and rotten, and this one's perfect. So yeah, now we got to get on to putting the hub back together. All right, we got our fresh new inner and outer wheel bearings installed with the new wheel seals, and it's just about perfect. So we're gonna put the dust cap back on. We got everything else all nice and tidy under here. So we'll put the dust cap back on, build out the second hub, and then we'll put the calipers back on. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Pad swap complete. No, it's a lot more than a pad swap. We changed those bearings, cleaned up the hubs, swapped the rotors, new pads, and brake hoses all the way around. So, not exactly rocket science, but you too can do this. About a case of brake cleaner later. It's just a little time consuming and dirty, but that's it for the disassembly and reassembly process. Tomorrow we will we will get on with bleeding them. But for now, we've got all the mechanical stuff taken apart, put back together, and we're ready. All right, thanks for following along. 1988 930S. You can see the slats. No front oil cooler over here. But yeah, came out good. And can't wait to see the performance difference of working brakes. Hey, thanks for watching. You can check us out at BreitWerks.com. If you like these kind of videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that we know to keep doing them. Take care.